All right, so welcome back. Today I'm going to be trying to solve staircase. Haven't looked at this yet, so let's get started. Let's load it up. Consider a staircase of size n equals to 4. Okay, so unlike another one where I might be counting, just doing 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4, these are actually preceded by 4 spaces, or 3 spaces probably. Just write a line composed of pound symbols and spaces and has a height and width of n equals 6. Okay. So, the way that I always like to start these is just by making sure that I understand the function description. Looks a little funny, but okay, so that's what we're going to be trying to build, and let's get started. So to avoid any kind of unnecessary issues, I'm just going to copy this to make sure that we get the right name of the function, and then I'm going to get started. So first thing I'm going to do is, because I'm going to want to be able to see in my debugger kind of where I'm at, put that in, and then I'll also get ready to invoke it with 6, because that was the test case that they were giving us. Okay, so what are we trying to do though? If this is 4, it's 4 rows and 3 spaces, 2 spaces, 1 space, 0 space. So 3 plus a pound is equal to the first row, and then so we're going to be incrementing and decrementing. We're going to be decrementing the spaces, which will be 1 less than the row, 1 less than the n, and we'll be incrementing the pounds for each one, putting those together in a row, and then printing them sequentially. So yeah, so first figure out the number of spaces, figure out the number of pounds, print a row. Iterate through n rows. This is going to be n minus 1. The first time, it's actually going to be n minus I as I increases. And this is going to be I as I, well, K as K increases. So what I'm thinking there is that the first one that we'll have is going to be, let's say that this is 4, we're going to have 3 spaces. So it will be 4 minus, well, I is going to start at 0. So it's actually n minus I minus 1. And this is, well, so what I'm worried about is just 0 indexing, so we'll want to make sure to account for length, and at some point I'm going to need to add 1 or subtract 1, either subtract 1 from the length or add 1 to, and have I start at 1. I think I starting at 1 is going to be the easiest, but it's a little, it's atypical for me, so I'm just thinking ahead to how I want to make sure that that will work. We'll make sure to account for length and the need for at least one space. Okay, so let's get started. For let I equal to 1, I less than n. So assumes n is an integer. Which was one of the constraints, if I recall correctly. Yeah, so n is an integer between 0 and 100. For I less than n, I plus plus. And I'm starting with the let row equal a blank. So I'm going to be creating strings and printing them out sequentially. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so what I'm worried about is I was going to do, I need, if I do that, I need to combine the loops. So I do first the space, because the space is to the left, and then the pound, which is to the right, and then go straight into the pounds, not having two separate for loops. Otherwise I'll do kind of stacking on top. I'll do the space part of this. I'll do 3 spaces, 2 spaces, 1 space, 0 space, then go into the pound. But that won't work for us. So first thing that I'm going to do is, as I said here, I want to append a number of spaces, which is going to be plus equals n minus I times space. I don't know that that works. I'm pretty sure JavaScript will allow me to just multiply a space, but let's take a look. String so what I'm looking for is kind of an action on properties. Trying to think about the right term, and it's definitely, it's an operator, string operator, JavaScript. So the plus is an operator. You normally think of them as things that you do for numbers, but this Z example here, where it combines them, makes me think that I actually can do a combination or a multiplication. So we're going to find out. We're going to be printing this and then making sure that that works. And then once so if we think about this, I equals to 1, so I is less than n, and in our example up here is 4, so 4 minus 1 is going to give me 3 spaces, and I'm going to put that on the row. Then I'm going to go into a new loop, let k equals to 1, k less than n, k plus plus. Because I'm within the same loop, if I were to try to set this equal to I, then yes, it would reset it, but it would be, because I'm letting, but it actually might interfere and I'd be using the same operator or iterator, excuse me. So I kind of just want to be clean and make sure that it's very clear that what I'm doing has to do with the pound. So now what I'm doing is here, and it's k numbers of pounds. Then I'm going to console log the row. So that's here, that's here. So that is what I assumed I would need. So let's give that a run. I'm going to open up a terminal. I use iTerm, but it's the same thing. I've gone ahead and saved where I am. And first thing I always do is make sure that I know where I am. Okay, so I'm in my I'm in my basic computer, and I know where. Oopsies. CD doc. I get really lazy and don't like typing out whole words, but those were typos. CD code. ls is a command that shows me all the different files in my directory. So this over here, you can see I'm in HackerRank. So cd hacker ls, and then I'm going to want to go to cd. Oh, 5. Okay. Oh, it was over here. That's why. ls, and then I want to do node staircase.js, and that isn't working. It's not working because I'm getting not a number, not a number, not a number, which is interesting. So what's it trying to do? So I got 6. Let's do a little PEMDAS here and make sure that because this was 6 and then minus 1 times a space was giving me not a number. Okay, so now I've got 0, which is also strange. Okay, so let's pause and think about how I can actually do this. I'm starting with a row that's a null string. Okay, so string operation multiply a value. Okay, so looks like we're learning something. So repeat 0 times gives me a space. ABC repeat once gives it once. Okay, so the multiplication operator I think I was picking up from Python, which is where I first learned a little bit about programming, and it looks like it doesn't work here. But let's take a look at this repeat function. And that's going to be necessary. Okay, so close, but not right. Well, better, but not right. So what's actually happening here? So what's happening? I'm doing this first one and then I'm going right back into another row, or another for loop. So I'm going through that a bunch of times instead of solving it all with the same equation. So I know the answer to this, right? It's I. So first I do 4 minus I, and you know that because the sum of n minus I and I is going to be n. So this loop looks like it was totally unnecessary, which makes a lot of sense. Don't know why I kind of defaulted into thinking that, but it happens. Okay. Still not working the way that I'm expecting it to. So I've got my spaces. I'm incrementing. Okay. So what's happening? Let's talk this through. I equals n, so in our case n equals 6, so I equals 6, I is greater than 0, I decrements. In this case, I'm going to repeat this 5 times. So what I would expect is that this should be 5 spaces. Unfortunately, I can't copy that, it looks like. Yeah, it's not. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so first row is right. What should happen in the next row is now I is going to equal 5. 5 is still greater than 0. So now I repeat 4 spaces and then print 6 minus 4 plus 1. Sorry, 6 minus 5 plus 1 would be 2. Which is what's happening, but I'm actually, it's not, it's going through the whole thing, each row, instead of doing a separate, so if these were to stack, it would actually be right. Row 18. And there we have it. So the issue that I was having was I was printing within each loop. So each loop was, this is my first loop, then I've got my second loop, but I didn't have a escape character. So the /n actually is an escape character and creates a new line. So it's a new line character. And basically what that's doing is it's creating this string that goes through a loop and then matches the, then adds a escape character, which then gets me down to this row, and I only want to print once. And that's all I've got today. Cool. Thanks for watching. It helped me think through it. See you guys tomorrow.